Hey there, folks. It's Habbage. How you doing? Sorry for the long time no stream. We'll catch up on all that. As the Twitch said, yep, this is a stream where we got robbed. Fill you in on all those details. And while, yeah, Friday night was tough in the sense that everybody around here at least wanted the Stanley Cup final to get wrapped up in easy, strong fashion. And hey, no worries, we're off. I think I'd alluded to the fact I didn't suspect that was exactly how it was going to go anyway, so I wasn't too disappointed in that regard, but we got other stuff going on. So stay tuned for all that as we're getting started here. I am just setting up the stream. And of course, today is Sunday, the 26th of June. There is another game this evening. I expect that we may have a few interruptions on the phone as myself and others are figuring out exactly what our plan is for the evening. But that doesn't mean we don't have 3.5, 4 hours of playtime. And so I think it should be a fairly normal stream. I can't wait to get back to this. It looks like we are in pretty good shape, and I am just going to do a quick check here. See, oh yeah, we're in great shape. All right. Now I just have to figure out Minecraft. Hey, what the heck were we doing here? Remember, we had our abandoned mine. We'd been doing a lot of exploration there. We even talked about it at the end of last stream, but I did not go back and look at that, so I don't know what I'd said. We talked about, yeah, we probably want to go on some more boat exploration above ground. I don't know what I have in my inventory. Looks like we use some more picks. We've done fairly well getting started in the abandoned mine shaft, but I do think, at least for the purposes of our story time and what all we got going on here, we may want to go check out the world a little bit more before we get too committed. We did very well on our effort to get iron, but there's still likely other villagers to explore, or other villages, not for ers, and a lot of other good stuff out there. I think for this trip, we will take a more full supply of goodies, and we'll store the beat up pick here away. All right, extra torches, those I'm going to leave. I was thinking that was in the boat. I know we've had it back and forth a little bit. We got lots of bread. I think we have more now, right? Because we made a bunch. I don't know that we need to carry extra arrows. We're going to use a lot of those down in the mines. We can make a few more now. Since we're here and just doing stuff, let's go ahead and do that. And yes, I'm just giving you guys a chance to jump on in here. Dropped out the tweet. Thanks so much to everybody I've had, despite not having been able to get back to it here in the last couple days. Lots more views, subscriptions. Bobby God, Metawalk, your channel subscribed over on the YouTube side. Thanks so much for that. Always appreciate you and everybody that bothers to either hit the like, drop a comment on the YouTube videos, or just generally follow along so you know when those are coming. It's big support, morale boost, and keeps things going. So appreciate you for doing that. Let's get up here and get into our boat. Do we? We do not. Ooh, almost awkward. There. All right. Yeah, I am not in a Minecraft state of mind. So let's go back and revisit the last few days. RL. So we can talk about our bamboo has grown up so much while we've been working down in the abandoned mine. Our sugarcane has grown again. We can certainly harvest that at some point. We're not going to do any of that now, though. We're going out in our boat for adventure and discovery. And we talked about the direction the last time around. Anybody who's here and familiar. You probably know which way. Oh, I missed it, didn't I? Shoot. Back here. There. And we're going to go straight this way, which I believe is south. It is south, right? Because the sun sets over to our right in the west. Speaking of which, we are getting a little bit on in the day. We'll probably get down to last sighted land and then hang out and sleep because, who knows? I don't know much. We followed, turned to the left and gone around this landmass on one of our early explorations, but we didn't look to go out beyond it. So maybe if we get up to this tree, it'll kind of be. Oh, how about this? That looks like land. Watch, it's just going to be weeds. There's some land, but now we're. That was definitely just weeds. I totally got fooled. So we'll kind of do a tacking is what they call it in actual sailing when you're trying to sail into the wind and you can't obviously you can't put up your sail and go straight head on into the wind. The wind's just going to straight up blow your boat backwards the way you came because you're going right into it. And I'm no veteran sailor, right? I as a kid I had enough to sail the little like two-man sailboats around in Midwest lakes. Nothing ocean going though. Nothing long-term or multi-sailed or anything like that. I once scared the bejesus out of my family when my cousin took us out on a sailboat and gave me the tiller and was like, "Oh yeah, you can bring us back in." And my cousin's kind of laid back. Oh, everything's easy, no worries, man. You can't mess this up too much. And okay, so I take the tiller and we approach the dock. Now is that a boat? And we're kind of coming up the opposite side of it, right? And then we got to go into. This is not a marina. This is like a dock off of a little island. There's a couple of them, so you're kind of going in between. But I'm used to driving power boats where you kind of, line up, move in, and then as you get to the place where you want to stop, you use the engines to reverse harden. If you have dual props, you can use the two, one forward, one back, to kind of whip the nose or the rear around as you want to. So I'm very familiar with that kind of boating, and this is not that. The sailing, I don't know exactly what they were kind of hoping that I would do, but we're coming into a dock and going alongside it. So I just hard over the tiller, like, whoosh, and the sail, predictably, the sail whips around and then it loses the air and dumps. And one of my older cousins from the UK who was over visiting jumps up, grabs the dock. My cousin that is nearly my age, she jumps out and together, they just kind of hold the dock and the boat, and we're laughing. Everybody's laughing or gasping or whatever. Everything's fine. We whipped in hard, came about, and the boat kind of settled into this dock. Not super gently or sedately, but it did exactly what I thought it was going to do. And everybody's like, "What are you doing? Oh, that was crazy!" And I'm like, "I don't know. I did what? I don't know." So I don't know how to be a calm and gentle sailor by any means. But we didn't drown, and the boat did not did not sink. I didn't crash it. I didn't beach it. It came up alongside. Now I guess had it not been for the others quickly jumping on it and kind of securing it to the dock, might have eventually gotten up to the shore. Probably would have, but again, we'd kind of lost the wind. I'd let the sail whip, and it fluttered, right? So you're no longer getting additional momentum, and at that point, we were kind of going back against the way we'd come. So the wind, what wind there was, would have kind of slowed us into the dock. Anyway, tacking. That's what that is. When you can only go, I think it's like 30 degrees into the wind. So if the wind's coming from that big tree right there, right? You can kind of go like this, and the wind will come and push the sail. You kind of anchor it off behind you, or tie it off behind you, and it will, even though the wind is mainly pushing the opposite way, the sail is catching that and blowing out, and your keel is actually turning that into forward momentum. And then you go, 500 yards or whatever the amount of the tack is, and then you turn and you go 30 more yards back the other way, or 30 degrees off the wind, whatever that same distance is. And if you just keep doing equal amounts, you continue in the direction you want to go. And obviously, it's not the fastest way to get from point A to point B, but when the wind is your power, it is the fastest way to get from A to B. So pretty cool stuff. Always fascinates me, that level of physics, and how you're taking that wind energy and turning that into momentum nearly in the opposite direction. Pretty cool. Anyway, we have no sail, we have oars. And as we can clearly see, we've made it into some plains. Plains are usually good for villages, but even more so, we're going to come right up to here. Oh, okay. Do that. And let's go have a little run around and see what we can see. Mainly cows. All right, we passed a bunch of them back here. Let's give them a little choppy chop. Get some leather. I always think I'm dropping those from pre-18, I think was when that changed. Still really haven't gotten a good handle on that inventory change. I think I like it overall, but it took a lot of getting used to. Something squawking outside. I guess it's like a crow, but it sounded like a duck for a while. Which brings me back. I think we've reached that time in the broadcast. Let's talk about what's going on. So Friday, I think I had. Did we? I don't know that we did record on Friday. I think it was Thursday, Wednesday, and Thursday that we had streams, and they were good streams and fun streams. And on one of those, and you'll find out, I did go back and try to locate it specifically. On Wednesday or Thursday, there was a point in the video where I talked about it. I said, man, there's some weird sounds going on outside. It almost sounds like somebody's in a machine shop cutting metal. And I was like, oh, behind the scenes, let's get up and look. And I was wearing the headset, and I walked over on the length of the cable and opened the blinds and looked outside. And there were the company that maintains the dumpsters and all that in our complex here was power washing the dumpsters and going through and checking them all. They wheel them all out because the garbage truck guys, they don't really check the enclosures for the dumpsters. They just wheel them out, empty them, go about their day. So there's a guy that comes around a pickup truck and he checks everything, kind of eyeballs the enclosures to make sure that there's somebody's old food trash hasn't split a bag that missed the dumpster and is just rotting in there. That kind of, they clean everything, make it just tidy so it doesn't smell bad, especially in the summer and all that. Much appreciated. It's good thing. Good sign for the company that does all our waste removal. So I'd looked out the window and was like, well, I guess it just sounded weird. But it must have been the water off the dumpster, so that's where we parked. And no biggie, we'll just finish up the stream, and very quickly they had moved on. I heard the dumpsters kind of bang back into position when they were done, and all was good, right? Perfect. Well, in that time, I didn't have any real reason to go out and about driving. I'd done groceries and all that kind of stuff, and just happy and content, right? Most of the time, if I'm out and about, I walk. Mainly, it's more distant errands, or if I'm going to meet up with friends or something that's not quick and close by, um, or whatever, right? You drive, but I don't have a working from home. I don't have a commute per se, and um, I don't think anybody these days is just running around. Um, Going, hey, let's go for a drive because gas is cheap, and that would be fun entertainment. Now, so not too much of that. And I've got an old truck, you guys. Some of you probably know I've got a '98 Toyota 4Runner, and it's lifted, and it's very functional as my vehicle, but it also has the added appeal of being able to get up and about in the mountains and give me access to terrain. So in that sense, it's a lot better to have an older truck than a newer one because you can, when you're driving through the woods on a four-wheel drive trail, branches and things can hang out. They're going to snag, rub your paint, call it what's called truck pinstripes, right? The branch scratches that go down the sides. You don't want all that on a brand new truck, right? Those cost what, like $80,000 or whatever ridiculous now. So no, you want to have something a little bit older. And I've had this for I don't know, maybe since it was probably like '08. I think that I got it. So however many years ago that was. Good long time out of that truck. And while it's old, it's in fairly good shape. When things get a little bit older like that, you let some things go a little bit longer than you would if it was brand new, right? Um, and so it's got some. The tires are a little worn. The brakes need to be done, and I haven't done it because I put in a couple thousand miles a year now, right? And as you guys know, I've done a number of trips with my family. I've got one coming up now. When I do that, because I have an old truck, I just rent a car and take that to put the miles and all that on it. Better fuel economy on the highway, right? I'm not going to go off-roading between here and where my parents live or my sister, and there's just no sense. It makes more sense. Rental cars are cheap enough in that regard that you can use them, have a good time. They start out clean. That when you get done, they take them back and clean them all up again, and it just works pretty well. So that's what I've done for years now, and have been really happy with that situation, I guess. So there you go. Got an old truck. She's a good one, and I always kind of joke like, um, kind of have a good anti-theft device in it because it's a manual transmission. Not that many people now coming up know how to drive stick, right? The vast majority of people are manual transmission drivers unless you're driving machinery, and the even those people that have like sports cars and things like that, now they're all the flappy paddle transmission gearboxes, right? So you can manually control, but you're still not manually clutching or anything like that. All of that now goes through the automatic transmission side of things. So it's I don't know. It's kind of just I just like driving a stick. I always have, and at times it's kind of frustrating when this truck became available. When I was buying it used, I was like, "Oh, absolutely! I want the manual gearbox. That's fantastic." Not quite as cool as I thought it would be on off-roading. Very cool in the sense that you can control what gear you're in, and you can use engine braking on steep descents and things like that. Further support your brakes as you're going off-road and trailing. The problem is nobody else has them, and if you're with a group of friends, because very rarely do you go off-roading solo, that can be a big problem if you have a breakdown, right? You're stuck out in the middle of nowhere. Um, and plus, it's more fun, right? Go hang out with a group, do stuff together. So you end up in in the middle of a row, and it's just like being stuck in traffic on the highway where everything is a traffic jam. That's no fun in a manual transmission vehicle because you're constantly on your clutch. You have to be in gear and then out of gear and in gear and out of gear, and nobody you notice very quickly when you are driving a manual transmission vehicle in traffic, nobody else cares, right? They're just like hard on the brakes, hard off, hard on, hard off. And anybody that's in a manual, you'll see they're the ones trying to creep along between all the stops and never fully stop or restart. They just want to keep a nice constant thing because it means you're not constantly engaging and disengaging the clutch as you're creeping along. So it's pretty cool, but that always kind of gave me this deal that even and amid all this stuff, there was a day of months ago now where I talked about the building people came out and said that somebody had been trying door handles in on the vehicles in the lot, and they saw them and called the cops, and they'd seen them, touching, trying to lift my door handle to check to see if it was locked, and it was, and they moved on. There was no break-in, and nothing happened, but it was certainly something that happened, and you just know if you aren't locking your vehicle in an outdoor public lot like that, a public, I mean, it's technically a private lot, but it's accessible to guests and people can just drive in. There's no gates or anything like that, right? It's just an apartment complex parking lot. Um, you're asking for trouble, right? You gotta lock your vehicle, and that that piece, yeah, whatever. And so I've never had windows smashed or anything like that, or the Slim Jim kind of stuff. I don't even know if that technically still works or if that's just a movie deal, but never had anything like that. Just apparently, yeah, they're gonna keep the crooks keep you honest, right? They're the ones going around to make sure that you're being smart and locking your vehicle. The other thing is just don't leave vehicles in your car or valuables in your car, so that if they were able to get in, what are they going to take? An ice scraper? And it's easy, I do it too. Like, you leave a jacket in the back just so that you have one and it's there. And then the next thing you know, you've left an extra pair of shoes. And then it's this, and then it's that. And before long, you've got, a full suitcase worth of stuff, maybe some tools, maybe some sporting gear, golf clubs or whatever. It's all sitting in there, and it just takes one person one through, or one hasty moment when you're not thinking, your mind's on other stuff, or you mean to go back and get that last bag of groceries and you forget, and you haven't locked the doors, and then all of a sudden you've got a big old impact, right? You're suddenly out a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm an adult. You learn these things through life, no problem. Those are the terms, right? And that can happen anywhere. You can be out in the country, you can be in a city. It doesn't matter. Lock your vehicles, and don't assume that wherever you are, there isn't somebody that might be around or passing through that's looking to take advantage of carelessness and sloppiness. So, yeah, long term, no problem there. And I really, I do when I'm outside, and I tend to occasionally just stick my head outside, kind of, hey, what's the temperature like in the evening? Has it cooled off? Is it warm? Is it hot? But you're also kind of looking around, just being visible too, right? Let everybody see that residents here will occasionally come outside, stick their head out, and go, yeah, who are you? What do you, and not confronting people like, oh, hey, well, you don't belong here, that kind of stuff, but just friendly. Hey, how's it going? Let people know that they're being seen when they come onto the property. That kind of stuff, in a friendly, get to know your neighbors kind of way. But then the non-neighbors stand out a little bit more. Um, if they're up to no good, or they'll be less likely to do things that are up to no good, because they know, hey, this is a place where people come out, they kind of watch each other's backs, look out for each other. So I try to be that neighbor, not the nosy invasive, but the, hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good day. Recognize faces. Maybe you get a first name and then forget it um, between folks as they pass by. I'm bad at names, but I try, and certainly I recognize the people. Right? I was just, what's your name again? I know you've told me like 20 times. Sorry about that. That kind of stuff. So I've always been doing that. But back up to our story here, or I guess jumping a little bit past it. Friday came along, and that was the big game 5, right? Colorado had won their hockey game on Wednesday night in Tampa to bring the series back home, up 3-1. All seems pretty good. They had lost a game, in which they very readily got outscored, but still were pretty competitive and lots of energy. And yes, it was borderline blowout kind of score wise, but um, it was easy to see that, yeah, that you could go either way in this game. And then had the overtime win, in which they just kind of seemed to build and build and build more momentum, more momentum, more momentum. And so going into Friday with a home game, it kind of felt like, all right, this could be it. Big, you know, Denver as a whole, the whole area seemed poised and ready. Like, people wanted that to happen. They wanted to have the reason to go out and whoop it up and party um, on a for a full weekend, right? Like, oh yeah, this is the way it's gonna go. Yeah, it didn't happen quite so much. And I'd really thought, all right, I'll be leading up with this kind of hype going into the game, and then afterwards I'll share my thoughts and all that. That changed a little bit, and the reason was everything started filling up early on Friday. We'd kind of planned, me and the friends that I've watched most of these games with, like, okay, it's Friday night. We decided we didn't need to go down to Denver and be right in the thick of it. I've done that a couple times, and should they win, that's going to be wild times. And I don't know. As a group, we were just kind of like, yeah, we'll do something up here. We'll go out and hopefully find us a fun scene, but we don't need to be down in the city and trying to get down and back and find a place. And it was rainy, and not wanting to necessarily be a part of any of the outside deals. Just was good enough, right? We had our plan, we were ready. Well, we we started thinking, all right, we're going to go up to just one of the places we'd been to before. And I start getting ready kind of early, and one of my friends goes up there and says, nope, it's already all reserved out. We can't even get in, at least not anywhere that could have seen a TV. And this is kind of one that has a bar area and then a restaurant. Like, oh yeah, you can sit in the restaurant, but You're not going to be watching a game from there, right? So all of a sudden the plan was changing. It was like, oh, I guess I'm going to start getting ready. So quick shower and start looking to Uber to the next option. And that was when uh, I realized, oh, we missed it. We've already waited far too late for this to work. And graciously, one of my friends in the midst of this was like, you know what? Not worth it. We're relocating back to my place. Just come up here. We'll watch it on TV and get some pizzas or whatever. It'll be fine. Well, in the midst of that, I've been trying to Uber because responsible. Don't drive on. Don't drive ever if you're drinking. And I say that kind of relativistically. That torch that we left is going to be. I think it's right there. For the homeward path is going to be tough to find. Um, yeah, so being responsible, and I think in the course of it, I had 2 beers over the evening, and another one when I got home. But anyway, I try to Uber, and the surge is ridiculous, right? The first time I'd looked, it was, and this was, late afternoon time, not even into like afternoon rush hour. It jumped up for what should have been a $20-$30 ride somewhere in that range. Started at 60, and in the course of my looking, it was up over 100 and bounced around a little bit, right? So I decided, it's too late. It's not going to go back down now heading into the game time. So I need to just. I was doing so well until those cows. They kind of caught me off guard. Is this the hill we climbed? Where's our little stick thing? I think that is it. No. Oh, man. That's west. All right. So I was just backwards, but we need these cows. Sorry. So, Uber's out, right? It's gonna be, probably drop right after the game I want to watch starts going. So I will just drive to where we're going to and leave my car and then Uber up on Saturday to get it because this was normally what I'll do is do that, but then just go for a walk the next day and get it back that way. This was a little too far. This was like I don't know roads wise, but to get up there, it's about a 20-mile round trip bike ride. So I mean, you could do it if you had nothing else you wanted to do that day, but. Easy enough, right? You go up on a Saturday morning, instead of being all that expensive, it's now like a $15 ride. There's people looking for business instead of a total demand for cars. So I quickly accept that. All right, run out, grab the keys, and well, I guess I had my keys in it. I was going to lock my door, but go head out in the truck, and I hop in, climb in, throw my hockey sweater on the seat, turn the key, and almost pooped my pants because it sounded like a Harley Davidson started underneath my seat when I turned on my truck. Who all can guess, right? No cheating. Anybody in chat? Anybody lurking? Anybody know what makes it suddenly feel as if you are sitting on top of a powder keg when you start your vehicle? Anybody? Anybody? I know you'll all answer it in the comments, but it doesn't count. Yeah, I had a bad feeling as soon as I turned it off and climbed out and looked underneath and couldn't quite see, so I rolled under my truck, and you guessed it, there's about a 2 foot section of my exhaust line gone. And guess what part sits right in the middle of that 2 foot section? It is called the catalytic converters. Those are, for those of you guys who don't know, if you haven't already heard, those are the pieces that of your exhaust system that do the emissions control. They do magic, right? Rare elements such as palladium, platinum, and one that starts with an R that I can't. It's not radium. That would be dangerous. But something else. Um, all sit, and the exhaust passes through them, and they do conversions of the catalysts, right? And make it so that our vehicles don't make the air deadly and toxic and all that, right? Which is a good thing. Yay, catalytic converters. Unfortunately, and particularly following the pandemic and with the delays in shipping of stuff, um, these rare minerals and earths, those kinds of things, are hugely valuable. In fact, we were talking about it with the geology series that I'd watched, the value of the earth stuff, and how rare earth minerals and that kind of stuff really. Did we just make a big loop? Is that the same? Is that the same hill? Is that my little stand over there? How did I not get out of here the last time around? All right, we gotta we gotta go all the way back. We've explored. We've gotten a lot of steak, a lot of leather. That's very good. Just good reason. Yeah. So I learned a lot about this, but not so much on Friday night because I was seething. Like I looked in, I knew as soon as I turned it over, I was like, oh no, 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 this can't be happening, right? You kind of have that moment of denial, and it, even looking at it, I was like, that is way too clean and nice. I figured, having heard about this a little bit, that it would be, just beat to hell and ragged and all that. No, perfectly clean, nice little cuts. Looked like, for a second there, I had to look because, I mean, you get up under a car. I'm not a mechanic or anything like that. I mean, I know the systems of vehicles. I've done some maintenance on my own. I'm not incompetent, but I'm also, always kind of, all right, check pull up a YouTube video before whatever I'm doing just to refresh what I'm looking at, what it's supposed to look like before and after, that kind of stuff. That I don't know. That's just my level of comfort. So I look in there and I'm like, no, that looks too intentional, right? That can't be there. But of course, at the same time, I'm like, yeah, that's the exhaust line. That's exactly what that is. And I had to like roll around in position so I could see the other side of the cut. And yep, it's both sides, and just a big section missing, and that's where the catalytic converters live. So I took a bit to be upset and kind of angry. And as this is happening, and I'm rolling around on the ground, it's beginning to rain again. So that was lovely. And I, first off, had to run. Well, first off, had to let my friends know. Look, I'm probably going to be a little bit late here. Sorry about that, but don't worry, all is well. I just, I can't just drop everything. And then the next stop was over at the building complex office to say, hey, sorry to bring this up again, but are you guys aware of anybody else reporting this? how often has this happened? And the girl in the office was like, I've never even heard of that happening. And one of the maintenance guys that, I at least wave to every once in a while, he comes walking through at the same time. He's like, what happened? I was like, my catalytic converters just got cut out of my truck one of the last 2 days. And he's like, oh man. He's like, that's like the third one we've had. And she's like, it is? And he said, well, not recently, but yes, we have had those happen before. And I was like, oh man. And it it's one of those things. It just like when they reported the people trying to lift the door handles, and there was the whole deal from my apartment complex coming to me and saying, hey, we saw them trying yours, can the police come out and dust for fingerprints or investigate your vehicle or whatever? And I was like, of course. And nothing ever came of it, right? There's just not police resources to investigate every little one of these things unless they have something really actionable to go off of. And so I knew that, but I was also like, well, I will uh, put in a police report just so that we have the documentation of it in case somebody else also has this, or they know, hey, this is becoming more widespread in the area, and that's how police resources and things get allocated to this. If they don't know that it's happening, if you never tell them, um, how can the city council or whatever be like, what, we really need one of the officers to just be tracking this down? It's a big deal, and even then, does it really stop probably not. We can talk about that more. That took so long. Anyway, we've got all the sugar cane, so I'm not going to carry that, but we will carry that. We'll put the kelp back in, and I have not yet put on my Aqua Affinity helmet. Oh, it's not respiration, and no, I can't just get in there. Okay, up, and there we go. All right. So call the non-emergency police number that evening. Just right then. Hey guys, I don't know what the deal is. I'd like to make a report that somebody cut out my catalytic converter, and um, just get a police report in. And I guess there is stone brick there. I actually saw the gold brick thing first. Do we see a chest? I think it might be there. Why does it pull me down without giving me the air? That's kind of rude. So, let's see. Where were we? Oh, nothing good there, but kind of cool to look at. Still looking for the chest, if there is one. There it is. Let's do that. So this is, now we're ticking down time to game time. It's about 2.5 hours or so before the actual, well, like before 6 o'clock local, which then they play the anthem and all that kind of stuff, right? So you get a little bit more time. I want all of you guys to go in the chest. And why not? So, police report, right? Call the non-emergency numbers. Nice sounding woman, like, hey, how's it going? All that. How can we help you? And I said, well, here's here's the deal. It's not an emergency. I know we're not dispatching anybody like that, but I just wanted to call in and submit a report that we do have a theft, out of that area. I don't know if there's others or anything like that, but something you guys should definitely be aware of. She said, "Oh, that's all." Took my name and number and all that, and then said, "Well, we'll have an officer call you back." And I said, well, "Is that going to be tonight? Could it be tomorrow?" "Oh, no, it'll definitely be tonight. Like an hour or two. There's like three other reports that have come in, and they do them first in, first out when it's non-emergency stuff. So." We'll have somebody calling you back. As soon as there's an officer available to take your report, we'll have them call you back. I said, okay, that's fine. So I jotted down we need to go use this. I jotted down my VIN and obviously my license plate, but I always wonder, is it the numbers or the letters first, right? Because they flipped them at one point, and even though I've had this license for a number of years, it's still, I was like, which one's right here? What do we have? I didn't even know you could have thorns on boots. Is that even a thing? Is that a new thing? Huh. Well, there we go. We also need to not forget that. Here, let's put this here. All right, now we have enough to loot the village. We still had some potatoes back here, right? Floating house. And might as well take the bread, right? Got a spot for that. The problem, of course, was I didn't really want to have to get involved with that in the middle of a hockey game that I really wanted to watch. And now, time is ticking. And through all of this, I'm still checking the Uber. Like, yep, no, it's still, like $100 to get to my friend's house. Like, I don't care. I will just sit at home and sulk about my good poor fortune, and watch it on my TV rather than pay $100. Now that I just know I got unexpected expenses coming my way thanks to nasty, rotten criminals. And I'm not gonna, just not gonna pay what I know is just a surging, ridiculous price on a ride. But it was, by that point, it was probably dropping down into the $50, $60 range, not the $100 range. So that was a little better. But kind of small consolation, right? But nonetheless, so we would love to see a beat, an obvious beat. That could be a beat. Could be carrots too, but all three of those are that kind of like off-colored. Yeah, we'll hang here for just a moment or kind of tool around. How's everybody doing? I don't have enough to trade any of you. Let's do this map. I'm assuming, so we want to go northeast. East is that way. I think north is that way. Get out of this little channel and then check that. And we want to go more east than north, I think. So this is another. It's probably our closest village, honestly, in terms of grabbing villagers. All right, we are into the northern parts, probably up near these islands. So yeah, I spent a while waiting. Finally, just like that, it clicks. That's kind of how it happens with Uber stuff. And it goes from like $50, $60 to, oh yeah, now it's down to 20 something. And the guy was like 6 minutes away when I ordered. So that part of it worked out. Unfortunately, I missed missed like half the first period just getting over there, and then um, another while because, of course, just as I'm arriving and saying hello and how nice it is for everybody to have, that my buddy and his girlfriend to have welcomed us all into their home at short notice, that's when the police officer called back. Well, it was good. He was really nice, and he was kind of like, "What do you estimate the values at?" I was like, "I don't know. Honestly, in like the 30 minutes of Googling on this stuff that I've done since you were here, trying to get the map filled in before we go. Oh, look at that. Have we? I don't think we've been to this island at all, have we? Or was this one of the ones that we saw on our first little exploration? Maybe we did come over here. Yep. Okay, good. Then I know vaguely where we are. Um, but he's like, so what do you estimate the loss at? And I was like, I don't know what it says, like $1,000 to $3,000 for replacement on the web. Is that right? Like, I'm looking to you, dude. You guys know more about these thefts and taking the reports than I do. He's like, yeah, we can probably call it 1,000. It's just the part. Like, you can't estimate your loss as labor to repair it, but anything that you have to do to replace the stolen item is included. So I was like, well, yeah, okay, let's call it that then. I don't know. And he's like, well, you can give this to your insurance. I'm like, you don't understand, man. My truck is a 1998. I have liability. They, even if I didn't just have liability on it, if I had this stolen and had like your regular full insurance that would cover theft and all that kind of stuff, they would have gone, yep. Congratulations, your vehicle has now been totaled, and we're going to give you a check for like $2,000, right? There's even though the Toyota 4Runner in the third generation is a very popular off-road vehicle and has a high resale market here in the Mountain West, really, not just Colorado, although probably Denver and Salt Lake and some of those have the biggest vehicle market for that kind of stuff, and you still see a ton of them around nationally and through an insurance thing. They're just gonna here's your check for the nationwide average on a 20 whatever year old truck. Good luck. Glad you enjoyed it, right? And hey, I've never, I've paid my maintenance and all that kind of stuff. I think at the time that I bought it used, it was like $5,000. So it hasn't been a huge investment, and I'm going to pay a lot more now to do something about it. But that's kind of where I'm right under the X already. That's where the part of this that's theft gets to you, and it was really really getting to me on Friday night, and it was between the times that I discovered it and the call and waiting for my Uber, and I went back outside, and as the car's pulling around and coming in, I had to stop myself and just say, it's one of those times when you have to count your blessings and look at the good stuff that you have, right? And so often we get in that trap of not wanting to do that, right? Oh, I'm the victim here. Somebody, and I was, that's legitimately the textbook definition of being a victim, right? I was I didn't do anything to provoke that or ask for it. I have to imagine that um, it was fully anonymous and kind of a crime of opportunity. Why can't I get into this chest now? Um, where, well, we'll get into more of that, but um, one of those situations where I wasn't targeted. It wasn't like a hate crime or anything like that. Certainly, right? It was just kind of the reverse of the wrong place, wrong time, and one of those things that we've got this going on as a society, and do we have to look at that? But this was not me being um, a victim of somebody targeting me and trying to do me ill. It was somebody trying to enrich themselves at somebody else's expense, right? A thief. And as I'm sitting there, the rain has cleared. It's kind of damp out, and I've got like a minute, and I was like, it isn't that bad, right? And clearly that's a little. It's simple to say that, and it's easy, but in those moments, it is really tough to just take a step back because you get shock, you get a little bit of adrenaline. How did this actually happen? Worse for me because it sounded like my truck was about to explode under my seat with the full exhaust of my engine right there underneath me. And you just you're all keyed up. I could feel, as I'm like waiting and walking and all these things. I'm watching time go by. That makes you feel helpless. As had none of this happened, it would have felt helpless as it's getting closer and closer to a game that I wanted to watch, and I have no control over the price, but I know things are going the wrong way. So that was one piece of it, and then of course, going outside and finding, dude, somebody came and literally 30 yards at most from my front window, somebody stole this from me. And clearly, unless they were watching for one of my morning walks or something like that, I was pretty likely here when it happened. And we'll get back to that. Remember, keep that in your heads. Um, I This happened, and it those two just really start a mental spiral that I think we're all very subject to. And you wouldn't be human if you didn't feel a little bit of it, right? You want to feel mad and ill used when those kind of things happen. Just they happened, right? It wouldn't. Yay! Hey, look at that! Now I've got to pay extra money that I didn't want to pay to get this fixed, and it's going to be a huge inconvenience. And oh, by the way, a part of the reason why this is happening so much is because it's really hard to get these things, and so therefore the metals and all that are more valuable to come back through. So coffee sip. So um, as I'm waiting for my Uber and kind of blowing off a little bit of steam, but now that pressure, I know I'm going to get to where I want to be that evening. It didn't take a ridiculously long time, and I'm not going to miss more than I feared I would of the game. So I'm kind of, I meant to, take a deep breath, slow down. You're okay, and that's what I kind of had to accept is this could have been I could have been impacted the same way if somebody was just driving carelessly and rear-ended me, right? Same older model truck, same. I pay less in insurance to have it, but I know I'm not. I'm out of pocket if these kind of things happen, and it would have been just as bad if somebody probably worse, right? If somebody rear ends me and crumples the frame, well, now none of that's getting fixed. Um, this way, I still, I will have to go through the pain, and I still don't have the exact answer figured out, but I will have to go through getting that piece replaced, and as I'm doing that, some of the other maintenance stuff that I probably need to do, just, brakes and some of those that I've put off a little while. Probably the universe saying, yep, it's time to get that done, but that does make me then say, all right, well, I've been considering for a long time, should I get a little daily driver, something, and keep this one, now that it's older and less reliable anyway, keep it as a pure toy vehicle, right? If you will, camping truck, right? The one that I can take off road, go up camping with, but basically, just leave it as is, um, and not worry about the cosmetics or anything like that going forward. It just kind of remains in place. All right, this map looked like this. That looks pretty similar, I'd say, right? Let's check the X, because it's really, I think that's the same map. All right. Now, okay. Lost track. That one goes away. All right, so we got that. Is it nighttime? Man, this is handy though. Ever there was a time to be in nighttime. Um, so we get these moments, right, where you get a couple things going on, or at least I do. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in this, but maybe I'm not. I know, and I think this is a lot of people's religious backgrounds and all that. Certainly is mine, but it's also just built into a lot of um, philosophy or wellness. The idea that being selfless is healthier and better and longer term sustainable than being selfish, right? When you can abandon your sense of self, or that um, natural instinct we have to put ourselves first, right? Oh, my needs, my this, that. I want to have a new TV. I want to have a fancy car, all that. And instead, what can I do for somebody else with that same resource, whatever that resource may be, right? If we can do that longer term, we feel better, right? The most euphoric uh, feeling that I can attest to is those times when you're not thinking about it, you're not planning to, but you get the chance to do something unexpectedly nice for somebody else. And I can think of a few of them in my own life. One of the best, right? Because it was so perfect in the moment. I don't need those. I don't need that. We're on top of a thing. Let's take the wheat, because even though we've got a lot of hay bales and we get that whole village worth of hay bales that I haven't even grabbed. Um, do all this. All right. There's where we came from. I know it's rainy. Let's go back to this village and look to see if beets grew while we were gone. While we're doing that, being selfless, right? Personally, and I know, this is something you kind of come to later, I think, in life more naturally than maybe when you're young. Um, and probably because you have to have fulfilled your wants and desires of the self and understood that, oh, those things don't give you the lasting fulfillment or purpose. Here we are, I already overshot. Um, the lasting fulfillment or pleasure that you get from, I saw the look of surprise and appreciation on the face of somebody who I just out of the blue was able to do a solid for, right? Hey, you weren't expecting this, but how you doing? Sometimes it's just as easy as striking up a conversation or saying hello or smiling, in the middle of a busy street or during a school class when you've got a big test or something going on, right? And you look across the room. Obviously, somebody's frazzled. They're not prepared. They look like they haven't slept at all that night, and you can just kind of make their day by empathizing. Hey, it's gonna be all right. We got this. You got this. You may not even know them. It may be a total fabrication, but some of that can really help out. Or if they're struggling, or you see that somebody got a bad grade on the test, maybe then it's ooh, this one came pretty good for me. You want to find some time where we can sit down and talk through. Maybe I can help make it easier for you. Those kinds of things, right? They're not asking you for help, but you see an opportunity and you just rise to it. And like I said, a lot of times those surprise even me when I have them. But I think the more you can look into that or be aware, hey, how can I put myself in a position where I can be unexpectedly nice or be selfless and a servant of others. That's kind of a little more religiously toned than I really think, but just be helpful. The Boy Scouts do a good turn daily, right? That's the same deal, and I think was the was the founder of the Boy Scouts like an LDS, Latter Day Saint, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where I think I heard something along those lines. So had some religious backgrounds and overtones, but certainly that organization has no religious affiliation. But it's the common sense stuff, right? It's the golden rule: do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Being selfless, though, is even beyond that. It's going, I don't need all that. I can get by on less. I don't have to. And greedy is maybe a little bit less or a little over the top, but I can say no to myself. I don't mind getting wet if it's raining and I have an umbrella and somebody else is all dressed up nice and I can either hand it to them and say take it, have it, or walk with them and keep them from getting all wet. Right? It doesn't. When you have a position to do those kind of things and can make somebody else's life unexpectedly better, um, give it a try and just see how long that feeling of amazement lasts for you. And this is the one that I felt, and I kind of had to think back on this the other day while I'm waiting for this Uber. Right, it kind of, as I was appreciating, you know, I need to stop feeling so sorry for myself and being selfish about I'm a victim. I'm in a position, and not, I will feel this certainly. It's not something I was just looking forward to having to replace and or do. It's going to be a massive inconvenience in the week leading up to my family getting together to not have ready transportation. And like I said, I already have a rental car reserved for the time my folks are out here. I don't think I'm going to be renting another one. I'll probably have to make some arrangements here and there to do a few things leading up to that. But I don't think, based on what I've seen, that I will be getting a catalytic converter done, or my exhaust replaced in that time. But that's kind of good. If I then have this rental car, I could drop it off at the shop and have it. Hopefully, if they can be working on getting the part. Get it replaced before I'm back. So there's that. And then I really, I think this is also kind of the universe saying, you've been kind of coasting by, right? You got this one older vehicle, but it's certainly not 100% reliable, right? Like I said, the brake's a little bit overdone. It is old. There could be a point when the clutch goes, or something like that. Any of those kind of things that all of a sudden you got to put in the shop, and when you don't have something else, yeah, that's a big inconvenience. So we'll see where I end up on that, because I haven't considered or been looking at cars. I know that inventories are way down after the pandemic. Demand is way up. We have inflation and a recession. All bad things. It's the worst time. But it's always the worst time. And that's another thing, you can't let your life be led by what the news is telling you. listen, for you folks that are like, oh, inflation needs to go back down, they may slow inflation. Once in my lifetime, once prices have been inflated to the point where they've gone up, they're not going back. We're going to adjust to the new price points. And we've been living pretty good for a long time, right? We've gotten a lot. We've had loads of disposable income. The fact that loads of us have multiple different streaming services going on in our lives tells you, yeah, you've got some money to throw around on entertainment. You're not, believe it or not, you're not that hard pressed when you can do that. And the fact that our gas prices went up, honestly, they're catching up to what the rest of the world's been paying for people's entire lives. Look at this. It's finally coming, and it is what we wanted it to be. So, we'll try to let these go. What I don't want is for the farmers to tend them. Those could be carrots, I guess. But certainly we have one beet. So, um, yeah, being selfless and unexpected events. The one that I was reminding myself of, and one of my favorite memories in life. I've got loads. That's what life's all about, right? Bank up some memories and share them with loved ones, and hopefully, those memories are shared with the experiences that create the memories are shared with others that you know and love, friends or family, whatever. Saying love loosely, right? The people you care about, whether it's a deep romantic love partner kind of deal, or your parents or your family, or if it's just, your good friends that you care about and would do anything for kind of deal. Um, in my case, the one that I'm talking about right now was not any of those. It was just myself. A dark spring or summer evening. It was very mild out, and I was driving pretty much through my neighborhood, not my immediate neighborhood, but kind of the greater neighborhood area, right? And I was going by what's kind of the nearest school to my house, and it's, I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock at night, something like that, and it's dark. So it was either early enough spring or cloudy or whatever. But I'm going through it. There's cars and stuff going around. It's not middle of the night type time, but it's also not daytime, and definitely dark, right? Not even dusk. It's nighttime. And as I'm going along, I see this. I think it's probably like a golden slash spaniel slash, I don't know. It was a puppy, furry, and a big puppy, right? Like, big in the sense that, yeah, it was going to be a big dog anyway, and it was probably a couple months old, right? This wasn't like a barely opened its eyes just out of the cardboard box that they put the full litter in, right? This was a puppy. It was one of the ones that loves to play all the time and chew on your shoes and that kind of stuff, right? So as I'm driving past this school, this puppy, not on a leash or anything, goes bounding across the street in front of me, and not like chasing something or anything, just puppy exploring the world, happy as can be, and not a care in the world kind of stuff. And I see it, and I just stop in the middle of the road. And the, most people I would like to think, some people are better than me. Some people see a turtle in the shoulder and are like, oh, that turtle is headed for the road. I need to go and protect it. Otherwise, it's going to get squashed by a car. I can't say I would do that every time. I guess if I saw it, I'm just not on the constant vigilant lookout for it. Um, but this dog was absolutely, that dog is clearly unattended and gonna get hit by a car if somebody doesn't. Don't you dare get away from there. Go on. It's not ready. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you and keep you from coming up here. Stay away from this beat. Um, because it's my beat. I'm going to be selfish. Nope, nope, nope. Get away, get away, get away from it. Um, so this puppy, it was so cute. I just stop middle of what it's kind of the main road through the neighborhood. I throw on my hazards, pull over, jump out of the car, and hey, puppy, come here, because puppy doesn't know me, I don't know the puppy, but you don't want to scare it or make it think that hey, this is a game. So hey, puppy, oh, how you doing? And of course, you hold out your hand so it can come up and sniff, and sure enough, it's there. I grab the collar. Dude, you are freaking me out, and kind of get a hold on this dog, and it's it's happy as can be. Oh, you're paying attention to me. This is great. I'm getting attention, and I'm such a happy dog, and all was good. Do not mess this up for me while I'm coming over here. This, 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 those. So long story, way too long story at this point. I get the tag, like I think I had a light on my phone or whatever, or I basically encourage the dog up into the back of my car, and okay, I talked to you now. Go about your business. Go on. Um, Look at me, not the beat. Called the number on the tag, right? Fortunately, it was one of those that actually had the number, and I call up and I'm like, "Hi, hey so and so." Well, it doesn't say a name. All it says is like Fluffy or whatever the dog's name was, and a phone number. So I call the number and I'm like, "Hi, I'm sitting over in the elementary school parking lot because at that point I'd moved my car out of the middle of the road into the middle of the drive-through thing, and I said, "Do you have a dog named Fluffy by any chance? Because I just found a dog with this phone number on the tag, and I've got it over at the school." And I I think it was the woman who answered the phone, and she's like, "Fluffy?" Oh, she's like, and I don't remember. This is years ago. I don't remember the names. It was like, Bill, isn't Fluffy with you? I hear this like going on in the background of the phone conversation. He's like, no, Fluffy's with you. Where'd you say you were? Sure enough, the guy like comes hauling over into his car. Like, oh man, we're so thankful. I was like, hey, I'm just happy, didn't get hit, and this wasn't like a, hey, I saw your dog and got it from there. So great dog, but I mean, just the feeling after that, driving around, running whatever errand it was that I was doing on my way to go do that evening, made me just feel so completely good. Not in a, oh yeah, I'm glad I did this, or I got this now I can use it. I didn't even know I was going to be presented that opportunity to meet this dog and get it back to its owners or anything like that. It was just presented, and I was able to answer the bell, so to speak. And it's still to this day, 10+ years later, it still just stands out as I remember how unexpectedly wonderful it felt to have had that. And in some ways, that's, I think, about the closest thing you can do is when you get that reciprocity in a person, that, wow, they're as, and it doesn't have to be romantic, but that's probably the easiest way to perceive it, is you ask, in my case, right, you ask a girl out and you find that she's as excited to say, yeah, let's go do something, as you are to to ask, right? And that, yeah, all right, this has a chance to go somewhere. That's kind of that same feeling. And there again, it's kind of one of those, am I being selfish, or can I make a positive in that person's life by being more involved in it? Whether it's just getting a cup of coffee once a week, or whether it builds into a future marriage, who knows? But it's those kind of things. What's your mentality going in? Is it what I can get out of it, or is it what can I offer out of this? Can I enrich? Can I be a positive? And that's a lot of insight into kind of the way that I look at a lot of things in life. And it's not always easy. Like I said the other night, not easy. But by the end of it, I kind of knew that was going to be a deal, but I got sick of waiting. We've got a beet seed, though. Now, did any of the others come closer and make us think that these are beets? Can we find some? I think that's full. Can we find some bones? I don't know that we would be able to. What are you doing? I don't know that I can trade for anything, but we could get the wheat. And I don't think I need any of that. Nautilus shell would be the most appealing, but we'll be able to get drowned eventually. Let's get home. Oh, not before we get these carrots, though. So there I am standing waiting for this, my ride over to my friend's house after this has happened. I kind of, even though it sounded hollow, and it took me a lot of yesterday too, just to really get to the point where I wasn't just saying it to myself. I was actually, okay, I'm okay with this. I'm not thrilled, but there it takes a lot to go through that, putting yourself in the other person's shoes and going, how much worse does it have to be for somebody that's out there going around and taking things from others, whether it's in pursuit of the obvious money, right? Is this the best that they think they can do? In which case, how sad is that? You can't find any way to be a positive means of making a living, taking care of yourself and others. That in itself, kind of makes you, oh man, I don't want to be in that position, but I certainly, my heart goes out to people that feel that they need to go to those lengths to get ahead, and this makes me very worried. First of all, oh no, no, that was right. So where was this one? And is this another that we've already been to? I hope so. Otherwise, we're really lost. So there's that. There's this, whether it's supplemental or incidental, it's somebody going, no matter the risks to yourself for imprisonment or fines or anything else, if you were to get caught, which apparently, hey, if you want to be a crook, this is one they're not really, they don't have a handle on it, and that amazes me, because we'll continue to kind of talk this one through as we go. the the idea that my best, you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, what are you going to do? Well, I think I would be a fool not to try to go actively chop some people's cars in the street, right? And that's the part that kind of gets me. When I was growing up, the idea of a chop shop was a thing, right? Your car gets stolen, the thieves drive it off, take it to a garage somewhere. Usually in a movie, it's in a urban alley somewhere, and there's usually portrayed as a good-natured ne'er-do-well type. I was gonna say ex-con, but usually they're, they would still be very actively a criminal while they're doing it. But it's one of those like, yeah, I got a record, so this is my best option, and I'm a mechanic, so you bring your stolen cars in here, and we'll cut them all up and sell out the parts, or recycle or scrap or whatever. But that was the deal. They got your whole car, and then all the pieces of it got parted out and sold off as spares or replacements or whatever. This is completely different. This is your car sits there, they come in, take one pretty essential part. Although one of my buddies kept saying, you can just still drive it. You just gotta make sure that you don't get overwhelmed by carbon monoxide. You gotta keep the windows open and keep moving. I was like, I don't think you really understand quite how loud it is. Like, no, not not gonna be tearing around town. I'm not a teenager with no muffled exhaust. Um, but yeah, this idea, chopping on the fly, getting one piece that by and large renders the vehicle unusable is um, a real nuisance. And what I was discovering on Friday night as I was waiting and getting ready to file this police report was, you hear about it a little bit on the news, and if you're not one that is too into watching all that kind of stuff, um, it still bleeds through, and I would imagine in your hometown, wherever you live or work or have grown up, it's probably as much a nuisance inconvenience there as it is um, here in Colorado. Basically, all over the United States, I've seen, since basically the height of the pandemic, um, this has grown just exponentially, crazy amounts. They said, I think the numbers that I saw, like in 2018, the the numbers for where I live were like under 100 or right at 100 for a year. And it was like, nobody, what? Who would even do this? 2019, it was up to like 1,000 or high hundreds, right? Huge growth from what it had been, but not much. 20 up into the mid thousands, and then 2021 it was into the tens of thousands of these reported stolen things. And that may be metro area. I don't know. Again, a half hour's worth of research on this, right? But it was it was a shock to me that how pervasive this had become. And of course, as I'm seeing this, there's a lot of commentary about how do they get a hold of this. And one of the pieces is to try to track it on the back end to make it very difficult to sell the pieces out of that, right? Because your average thief, yes, they may, they know there's a lot of value in these catalytic converters. There's pieces in there that make them very valuable. Basically, they're getting bought, as I understand it, by more by recyclers or getting processed by a couple people along the way, so that you have, um, a thief. The thief sells the part to somebody who's still very much outside the law and knows it, right? He knows he's receiving stolen goods as he's getting it, but he's effectively chopping them so that they're parts. It's not the pipe that they cut out of my exhaust anymore, right? It's just the individual parts off of it, so that, had a machine shop or something replaced one of those on your car, a muffler shop, they would. That would have been what they would have pulled out, right? And then that is being sold by that point, effectively in the laundering process, to a parts scrapper, and they're then taking it on to a recycler, saying, yeah, this is no longer an effective part, so break out the materials, just like you would with a discarded cell phone, right? There's people that make a full business of breaking down cell phones, because even though the amount of gold and palladium or whatever else is in your cell phone, even though they're very, very small, you get enough of them, that's a lot of money to bring back. So there's a thriving business for it, and that's where all this demand comes from. And it all comes down to, all of us need new cell phones every few years. So all these things are in high, high, high demand, and other applications need them as well. Catalytic converters and a million other things, I'm sure. But that's where, there's only so much of these various items. If you've seen economic news, China is the big producer, and the trade wars are, China is not releasing a whole lot of those, and there's a big push in the United States to, part of this geology series that I'd watched. There was a huge push to get a mine open in California, I think, for rare earth elements, that had a particular area where there was a lot of this kind of stuff. And they were like, yeah, this will be coming online, and it will make America much more independent. Well, they got to do that so that the demand is not as high. The prices fall off, and it's not worth the risk for people to do it. And the other part is regulation, which I'm not a big regulation guy, right? I think a lot of times government and paperwork gets its way in here, and it becomes over the top. But when you're in a situation such as what I guess we are now, where tens of thousands, and if you go out nationally, hundreds of thousands of cars are being effectively taken off the road because of this, and it all cycles, right? Then they've got to be replaced. Those parts either have to come pre-assembled from other markets or whatever. It doesn't help our trade. It basically is just bad all around. Nobody wants to have to be providing all those resources into it. Rather have them go into new cars and newer, improved exhaust systems, all that kind of stuff. It just doesn't get the chance to happen. So while there's a very few, black markety type people that are making a bundle on this, they don't make that. The guy that chopped my truck is probably not seeing a whole lot out of that. And that's the kind of compassionate part. You're thinking, is this somebody that's got a dependency, a drug thing? They need that next thing, and they don't care how much they have to risk to get it. I don't know, but I doubt that person is going to get nearly as much back as I'm about to lay out to get my truck back in working order, whether I want to keep it or sell it or anything else. And then you have the question of, if that became a spare vehicle, a secondary, right? And I wasn't driving it every day, I wouldn't want to park it right in front of my place, right, and make people walk around it and all that. It apparently is no safer there than it is anywhere else. But if I park it on the other side of the parking lot, how long is it until they come back and hit it again, right? It just, and another problem, lifted truck. Really easy for somebody to get underneath without, a little Honda Accord or something like that. Doesn't have a whole lot of clearance. You got to be pretty flat on the ground to be able to get in and get that out. Not that I think that would be a big deterrent, right? All they have to do is come along with a jack, pop it up on the side, and can go with about 20 more seconds worth of work to do the exact same thing. So it's not a perfect solution, but that is a question. Then okay, do you need to rent a garage spot? I've always felt safe parking outside, but now I don't know. I think that would get real old the next time it happens, and what do you do there? So let me know in the comments. Any of you guys had this happen? Heard of it happening to other people? I know amongst my friends and all, we've all heard of it, but didn't really. Nobody had felt it close to home like this, and did it come back around? The other piece is, do you recall which of the videos it was, what we were doing in this world when I commented on the fact, hey, it sounds like somebody's like grinding metal outside. It sounds like a machine shop. I did spend a bunch of time going back through those videos, but I didn't. It was about 9 hours worth of recording. I did not listen to them nonstop to find the spot. I was kind of jumping through, trying to see if I could just land on a part where I was still either talking about hearing it or talking about getting up and looking out the window. And that whole flow was, we were sitting here and I was like, man, I think the lawnmower guys had been by or were still going with the leaf blowers. I said, I don't know what's going on now. It sounds like somebody's grinding metal outside. I legitimately said, it sounds like somebody's grinding metal or there's like a machine shop outside. And I didn't think of it at the time. It didn't even hit me until later when I was talking with the officer. But I said, I think I know. I don't know which day it was. I don't know exactly the time, but I think I actually know when this happened. I heard it. It was the middle of the day, not nighttime, because while they can, from what I've learned, they can go very quick. It takes less than a minute for these guys to get in and get out, but it it is the sound of somebody cutting through metal when they're getting this out, and that makes me think that they were rolling through, and this was purely a crime of opportunity. And what was happening at the time was that I was sitting here recording just like I am today. There was lawn mowing activity, so you got lawnmowers going by and leaf blowers and all that, lots of noise. And then on top of it, you had people pulling out dumpsters, banging them around, and running the power washer over the top. And of course, if you're, I don't know, somebody drive, it's got to be a vehicle, right? But you're driving by, because otherwise you got to walk out with a big pipe. I don't know. I kind of wish I'd seen, not only because then I would have better information, but because I would have a better concept of what this actually looks like going on. But they would have come by, seen that there was all this kind of loud activity, and who's going to notice one more sound in the midst of all this other stuff? Well, I noticed it enough to try to peek outside. I look through my blinds and I sit. I've got my front window, which is blinds, and then an additional layer of cover to keep it darker and less glare in here. And then I have a door out onto my deck, and it's kind of angled away from where my car was parked and towards those dumpsters. I walked to it, looked through those angled blinds, saw the dumpsters out, had a reason for what I was hearing, didn't look at it any further, and we went back to the game. And had I only looked out the other window or given it a little bit more look, I might have seen somebody getting up and walking away, or parked right behind me to further block that up. But brazen, uh, I'm going to say it was ballsy balls, right? This is somebody that's willing, and it was even closer for the people working on the dumpsters to my truck than I was to my truck, and they were outside in the midst of this. So while they're doing that, and somebody's mowing the lawns, somebody else presumably went up on the opposite side of my truck, hit the ground, rolled under the truck, ground this out, and was able to get up and get away clean right in the midst of it. And I'm baffled that can happen under the noses, but apparently, it's happening all the time. It's just we're so used to that level of noise and background and everything going on. But I can assure you one thing, guys. If you hear me in the future go, I gotta go and drop you guys with a mute and a screen that looks a lot like this, it may be because I hear a grinder and I'm going outside to try to see what's going on with my phone and camera in hand. And I just encourage everybody, be aware, be listening. If you hear something that sounds unfamiliar and you can't place it, you do yourself a big favor to go take a look, or maybe your neighbor or somebody else. But I'm going to try to be better about it and not just sit there and go, oh yeah, it's probably nothing, or yeah, that sounds right. I'm going to definitely try to be the person that gets up off their butt and goes and takes a little bit more of a look, because it's, again, that's how do you make this a little bit more positive? Well, maybe you can help somebody else from feeling that inconvenience. And for me, again, it's a nuisance thing, right? It's a pain in the butt. It's going to be some money out of my pocket at a time when I hadn't really planned on doing these kind of things. But there's a lot of good to. All right, sometimes you just need a kick in the pants, and yeah, having just one older truck as the main vehicle is a deal. But I sure have spent the last 24 plus hours thinking, all right, well, if I do go something newer, do I then have to rent a garage to keep it safe? Which vehicle would go in if I did? There's a lot more questions that then come into play, and I don't know. I don't know what all those answers are just yet, but it'll be interesting to figure it out. So thanks for bearing with me. This has been a long rehash, but fortunately, these things don't seem to happen every every day. This is the most victimized, I guess I can say, I've felt in quite a while. If maybe ever, I don't know. Knock on wood. We're got a little wood table. I've never been the victim of a home invasion, as far as I know. Nobody's ever broken in and taken anything like that. Never been mugged or assaulted or anything like that. That wasn't, kids scuffling on the playground or something like that. And yeah, basically, I've never had a car stolen. I had one car at one time that was rummaged or rifled through because I left it open in a driveway. And kind of, I looked at that as that's my own fault, right? And it was easy. From that, at least I could take a positive on myself of I will always, and so many times I find myself, I'm home, I know I locked my car, and it's not far from like an OCD thing, but if I'm walking away, I'll be like, I think I locked it, but I need to go back and double check. I just, you have that extra level of care and concern after you found out that, yeah, there are people out there that will take advantage of you being careless or just, a little bit forgetful, a little bit lazy, anything like that. So I many times will just, I need to double check and just make sure that everything is buttoned down the way it needs to be. Um, I'm still left scratching my head. How do you what action can you take to prevent that, right? And yeah, sitting here, whether I'm doing work or talking to you guys, I can kind of be watchful for it. If I hear that again, now I know I can take that away as a little bit of a positive. But I don't have a solution, and clearly we don't as a society yet. How do you prevent somebody that's that determined from getting in um, and making a mess, a major inconvenience in your life? I still don't have an answer to that. So I'll still be thinking and looking around online, talking to people. But it's so easy to let your thoughts spiral to negative places, right? And many times I've thought along the way, you guys may be thinking this too. Hey, there's garbage guys on your property. They're the ones making the noise, and right there, wouldn't it be really easy for them to have been the same people that were doing, like they send one? Could it be the lawnmower guys? They're doing the same thing. Are those the same guys? I don't know, but if you start thinking that way, um, you really you start second guessing everybody. You become an untrusting person, and I'd rather learn from this and try to be positive. And if I hear it or think that I'm hearing something like that again and can detect and see that, hey, the same kind of stuff is going on. This is only happening when garbage trucks go through or something. It becomes something that warrants it more. But I don't want to be the person that jumps to those kinds of conclusions, right? Because as far as I know, those people are out there helping me. They're serving me, and I really would find it tough to believe that uh, any kind of a professional organization that's in a service industry, right? They're competing with other people for the garbage contract and all that, and here it's all, there's no one garbage company in our community. It's competitive, right? There's a number of different options. If that kind of stuff does get out and they start getting bad press like that, they're going to be ruined. So I really give everybody that I know the benefit of the doubt that this is somebody that's watching for these opportunities to come in where it is noisy and there's other activities going around that people will just dismiss, just like I did, that there's an unfamiliar something happening out there. So be aware. Just learn from me. That's my way after a little bit of thinking about it to be positive here and encourage other people to be aware. It's just something that I think we're all going to have to deal with a lot more. And on the prevention front, I was talking a little bit about the society and regulation stuff. It really sounds like they're trying to push that for resale of those parts, right? If you own a part shop or uh, an exhaust or a junkyard or anything like that, somebody comes in with any of those catalytic converters or whatever the broken down components are of them and tries to sell you, oh yeah, that they are going to start requiring the seller details and the vehicle and all that. And this is, I think, certainly they need to do something, right? That's going to be a problem. It's also a bit of a joke, right? Somebody that's willing to, in the middle of broad daylight, lay down and roll on their back under a vehicle that they know is not theirs in a public parking lot and run a grinder machine to cut out a part, they're not going to have any problem giving false information to sell a part to a machine shop. And what you'll find out, like I know after the Trump, currently in the United States, every election is full of voter fraud, right? Everybody's voter fraud. Well, that comes back to the days when, hey, this person voted 18 times, and oh, by the way, they're dead, right? That was the deal. People would pull names off old census so that the pieces would fit, right, and they wouldn't pull a flag in um, the initial voter information, I guess, or processing of the ballots. Oh yeah, um, Ethel Robinson definitely is a name from Boston, Massachusetts, and Ethel voted a lot of times, um, but you don't initially connect that Ethel voted a lot of times up until 1987 when she passed away, and then suddenly she started voting again in 2020, and voted 35 times. Right? I don't know. I don't know anything about actual voter fraud or how that happens, but I know that was kind of a deal, right? I would imagine it will be much the same. Did you see that creeper? I saw him. Oh no, maybe it was just grass. Uh, it'll end up being much a similar situation where we have people who are happily willing to risk the fraud. They already risked the charges for theft, and um, getting down underneath these vehicles to rip out the parts. What more is it to risk it? And then from a shop's deal, if they're shady enough and willing to turn it for the quick buck, right? They're making money too. Um, it's easy enough for them to plead ignorance. Oh, I don't have a database or anything like that. I'm just basically responsible for gathering the information. And uh, how are you going to say that it's criminal negligence for me not to not to know that I've seen this name before or anything like I don't know. Just a complex problem that there's not a super easy solution for, other than we either need to find technologies that make um, those components irrelevant because there are more plentiful and cheaper options to do the same affect the same result for the pollution, right? Because that's what we want to do is get rid of the air pollution. So maybe there are options for that. I know we had like a big deep area. we just scratched the surface of this mine. I can't find it. Well, there's this hole. We had identified this hole, but we haven't been down in it. Um, so yeah, what? Oh yeah, are there technologies out there that can make the need for these current components irrelevant because we can use something that is readily available to affect the same result? That would be the ideal, right? Then the market dries up. Sure, we still need them for cell phones or whatever, but um, without the need for catalytic converters, we're all good. The other hugely surprising thing I found out as a result of having been in this position is I was looking to see if my vehicle on the list of the most readily impact, is this one that thieves target particularly? And basically no. For one thing, I think it's old enough now that even though there are still quite a few on the road here in my area, there's not as many as say a vehicle from the early 2000s. Oh well, I guess that doesn't make it like the 2010s. So, um, but I was looking to see if that was the case, and if so, how many how often are they hit, and like what are the vehicles that they're looking to steal these out of it the most common. And the two big surprises to me were it's not necessarily high clearance vehicles, your pickup trucks and your SUVs and some of that kind of stuff, which do make sense, right? Because it's easier for the thieves to get in and under. But actually, some of the most commonly impacted are um, hybrids. So, Prius, right? And now, that was kind of just the early example, and since there are a lot of those on the road, but now that they are, for one thing, very common. All right, they're being heavily incentivized and promoted by car dealerships to be sold, but they're also um, apparently more valuable because there are more concentrated components in the hybrid exhaust systems than there are in the traditional gasoline vehicles. And that made me scratch my head and go, wait, what? So we have hybrids, right? And the whole idea of hybrids is let's use less gas, let's be more environmentally friendly by using electricity, which, if it doesn't already occur to you, then you should know, that electricity still comes from somewhere, and more often than not, it is going to come from burning fossil fuels. Just the reality. Um, but it can be done much more efficiently at a electric power generator than it can in your car, right? So that's the appeal. You charge your batteries on an electric plug or by an electric conversion engine, which is charging a battery, um, and um, you are having a positive impact in that sense. But I was shocked to learn that in the course of that, the exhaust needs to be, I don't even know the word, right? But more highly processed to lower the emissions out of a hybrid vehicle. I was baffled. I don't know how we're in that situation or what that means. But it is pretty darn sucky when we're dependent on these um, increasingly stolen components, which are, everything I'm seeing, very difficult to obtain or replace, and um, basically hurting all of us when when I have to go replace this. It hurts us all, right? Because we have to get that from generally an external source from our country, right? And again, for the folks not in the U.S., um, more than likely you're in a similar boat, right? I don't think we have a ton of Asian viewers here. Welcome if you are. Say hi in the comments. I don't know where you all are from, but primarily here we're Western Europe and um, Canada, the U.S. All are welcome, and I love having your feedback. Any contributions you want to make in the chat or in the comments from the VODs, certainly welcome to do so. Because my whole point is we only get one ride in life. Like we play life in hardcore. Yeah, you die, it's over. And so you want to up your skills, your XP and your skills as much as possible in your playthrough, and you want to learn a whole bunch of stuff wherever you can. And one of the things that I think we're uh, well served to do is share our perspective with others from outside, and um, learn about the perspective of others, right? How do people outside of our own communities view the world? And uh, are there differences there which should give us pause, right? If there are differences, why? what, and what have we been missing out on, or what are the forces and factors that make those common? Now, we were just looking out at a huge void, and I'm trying to connect to that. This music is very. Oh, look at that, though. You dirty, dirty game. Trying to trap us. Uh, very, very frightening. Okay. Oh, well, he never got me, but that was pretty ugly. Uh, so yeah, when I'm talking about this kind of stuff, I would love to hear if you live in India or the Philippines or uh, North Africa or South Africa or South America. What's your take? Do you guys have people stealing catalytic converters? Is it something else that's going on for you? What's your response to that, or your communities? Is there just kind of a resignation that, yeah, that's kind of the cost of doing business, of having a car? You got to deal with thieves, and in some places, um, you have kind of that more vibrant, just okay, basically you're renting from. Oh, nice, that might be the spiders. It was. Um, yeah, you're basically renting parts from a black market provider, knowing, yeah, whether it's batteries or windshield wipers or tires or what, the thieves are going to operate, but you basically buy them back at a nuisance level, from the local guy that is tied into it. That's the whole idea of, yeah, you're basically buying back your own stolen parts. Um, and here we go. Try to get as much light up there as possible. All right. Um, yeah, you're basically buying back. You're acknowledging that, hey, I don't have. Should we keep you? Let's keep you guys here. Come back with me to the base. We're gonna go unload our inventory, and then we'll see what's in the chest there, if I can find my way through. But knowing that there's a spawner there is kind of a deal. All we need to really do is make sure that we know our way back to this hole. I don't know how we quite reverse direction there, but all right. Uh, Down the hole is easy. The question is, how do we make sure that we get in and out of the hole? I think this was from early, right? Now, is there something more direct? No. But this is the hole, right? This is, and maybe we had come down through here, but I think we can just do this. It won't be the same ease as our little stairs here, but it's not too I mean, basically from there we can just drop if we want to. All right, now I know how to get back though. Um, yeah, you know, there are cities and communities and all that where you may even get to the point of having like a sticker or some kind of a mark on your car. It's like, hey, yeah, uh, you've got to pass, right? The thieves know to stop the cycle. You're basically waving off them by just kicking them something regular to avoid the nuisance inconvenience stuff, right? And that's more a movie fictionalized deal, but I know that there are places in the world where stuff exactly like that happens. And um, you know, that in the US that was kind of breaking of some of the mob stuff. But again, sometimes it's quicker, easier, less painful to just go through a roundabout process rather than hitting things. Um, I do still have stuff in the boat, don't I? Chest is what made me think of that, or the need for chests. And you know, hey, maybe some of that is going on around me as we speak. I'm not too aware of it, but we certainly and I think I had saddles in there too, right? Just trying to group stuff that I can bring back because we need a tough and deep slate chest is what I'm really working on here. All right. Um, we had already scrubbed those. We've already got leather pants. Why do I have iron in here? That's kind of pointless, I think. And did I? That isn't my first saddle, is it? No, there's a saddle. We'll put those together for now. All right. Now, two chests. There and there. They get the cobble and the tough. Still got some gravel. Goes there. We've got fence posts. I think they're here. Yep. Just in case. Put that oak away. Flint. Gunpowder and clay and string can come here. Diamond gold. We could make a sword. Or we could save up for more for armor. I don't know. I always like being a little offensive. We'll get a straight up 7 attack damage just by having the diamond sword. Let's go ahead and do it. I like to say the armor could save our life, but not letting the mob get up on us could save it too. So there you go, 7 attack damage, and it's like I don't think it gets us any different speed. We will just hang on to this, right? Because we need to hopefully clear out those poison spiders now. Let's do that. There's that. This is going to be close, but let's just do it. I'm looking at all that iron. Like, yeah, we can be a little hasty to dump. All right, there's that and that. Go back, top off these because again, spiders and torches. How am I doing on wood? Not ideal. This will at least get us 2 stacks. And we can do that. That. And let's get some spares. Let me take 3 stacks down. Alright, are we refit? We're basically heading down into harm's way, so I'm going to make the steak the primary food. Let's fill up first and maybe sleep if it's nighttime. Oh, not sleeping. Alright, let's go see if we can clear out those spiders and see what more goodies there are down there. Oh, and we have that chest. how, how terrible would the comments be? Because they're like, you made us wait to see what was in the chest, and then you didn't even go back to it. No, we want whatever's in there. Maybe we'll get some diamonds. Maybe we will get some good spell books. We always quicker to go down than back up. Get a little more light there. I don't think that's going to be a huge problem. Was it down here? Uh-oh. Oh no. Was it at the same place as the cave spider? It was up here, right? Right down here. There we go. All right, now cat. Hey, we got more beet seeds. All that waiting. Let's just go ahead and grab everything, because why not? Grab that. And now, I know cavies. Kind of like scabies. Alright, sorry guys, hang on one second. Good call. Sorry, my friends, unplanned break there, but the great planning sessions are in effect. And I was like, oh, it didn't come back, but I didn't realize I hadn't escaped the game here. Let's see how far behind we are now. Oh, it's not as quick as it was when we started. Come on, game, catch up. Well, that's what I get for. There we go. Yeah, we're forewarned is foreordained. I am going to be a little late if you guys reach out in the chat. The view I have back through the PlayStation is now kind of that more 30-second delay than 2 to 3. Where there it is. Oh no. How is he still? Oh, maybe that's just the poison getting me. Now the real problem here is going to be I'm going to be so focused on these spiders that I'm going to get dinged from the other side, right? That would be Oh! Wow, where'd you come from, dude? All right, now you're stuck. And now we can come back and eat again. Get our hearts back up. Oh boy. All right, get stuck. Get stuck. Oh, well, one of them. There we go. This is a great little border there. And I would be Oh, I don't understand how these guys are. Oh, maybe they're coming from under here? Although we came up underneath there, right? I think I would have seen them. All right. Eat. What got me good? He was a potent fella. Yeah. Also, how did I put a torch on the stairs? Must have been in a flurry of spider fighting activity. All right, we seem to be juiced back up again here. All right. Oh, see, I don't. Oh, because you're not a spider. That's how you got me. That's fine. I don't know where exactly you came from, but. All right. Oh, that another spawner up over my left shoulder there? Might have been. Yes. Okay, that's a good little stop. Oh, till he does that. Oh. Also, I need to get these out of here so I can get back down more quickly. Whew, I got the hearts down. It's about the time and I'm like, I really should have taken the full break when I got that call and hit the restroom. Still had a little bit of coffee, but refilled the water. Ah, oh, man, where are jerk face? Get. Oh, he actually came down the stairs. What are you doing? Bad spider. Oh. Can I get... Hey, this is what we need to do. Oh, man. So then I realize I'm not healing anymore. Alright. Grr. How far over did we come? Oh, we gotta go all the way back across. I think. Alright, retreat. Eat. Still can't see where the... Get more light on that spawner. Okay, well, at least now we don't have more coming at us. Kind of begin to clean this up. At least the immediate area. Let's go here. Check for holes. I think that's just a spider in the distance there, not a spawner. Oh, a little bit of pooled XP there. It looks like another hallway back over that way. Probably just do this. I hear you, Spideys. Yep. That's a stake, not a sword. Sound the same, but not. And you. All right. Now we can explore. More? Maybe not. Boop, boop, boop. Lapis. This is back pretty much, well, no longer, but we're right back by that first spawner. Let's get a little light up there. So can we circle back around? And this is very much where we wanted to be, right? In the deeper parts of this mine. Now, does any of this connect with the spot where we were? Or are we now too deep? Yeah. Ah! Come here! Oh my goodness. Alright. Fun little loop. Alright. We are going to take a quick little pause. I will be right back. I apologize that this one was just getting going, the call and that, but I should have taken the break when I did. So I will be back in just a bit. Talk to you soon. Whoo-wee! Sorry about that, guys. I blew so much out of my nose. It was very cleansing. I feel oxygenated. It's amazing. All right. Well, anyway, let's get back after it here. We are just now getting to the goods. Hopefully, literally the goods. Um, in the form of some chest loot, maybe. Let's try this way. Hope that gravel holds. Let's see here, Skelly. Oh, oh, oh. Chop. You are a Skelly. Oh, awesome. So this we definitely want to make use of. Let's actually, I kind of will just remember in my map, my map, but this one warrants a note of the coordinates. More so than the spider spawner, right? Skeleton spawner. And it is 1691. Oop, not 1591. 1691 negative 21 and 937. Pretty close. About 40 off on the Z, but pretty much straight underneath where I put the coordinates for the base. All right. Well, that is fantastic to have locked up. This one, we'll try to set up a collection out of because arrows and bones are so handy. Oh, so good. Now, these do not stack. Well, stack up. And let's do that and that. Can't get the bread. I can get those. Man. Let's do that and that. Grab. I might have done that backwards. All right, we're good. No, we're not good because we don't. Oh, we do have a spot. Get that. Now, really matter, but I guess I'd rather have the bones up. All right. Well, the good news is, again, we are very close to home, so let's run back up and unload so we can do a few more of these hopefully profitable ventures. And that skelly is going to be great. Bones and arrows and XP all pretty much under our doorstep, but we do gotta go through quite a bit of up and down. We can clean all that up with a simple elevator, and if they're close enough, we can maybe even double dip a little bit where where we can have both farms running at the same time, and then just go down and clear out both a little better when we're trying to do enchanting XP and all that. Still no Enderman farm or anything like that, but nice to have them. Daytime. Get in there. I bet those doors look really good with some nether brick. All right, what do we need? We've got these chests. So let's do this. And maybe we'll do horse and albums together. I was thinking that was a mending book. I guess not though. But Silk Touch. Whew! We won't use it just yet, but it could be really handy. Not as good as Fortune, of course, to start things off, but um, now that we have it, we could certainly bring back all the coal and gems and that kind of stuff on a Silk Touch version of a pick, and then stack on the rest. Let's do this. The bread is awesome, and for building and stuff around here, but I don't think we need to carry it through the explorations. All right, this here, these. Combine those. We will take more of these. And since we're thinking about it, speaking of thinking about things, all right, bear with me. Before we go back down, let's go up and get all of this stuff. I don't think we finished emptying. Honestly, I should have this on right now. Let's do that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got no no mending on the helmet. And I shouldn't have put that through all the abuse of the cave spiders. It didn't go in the right spot necessarily. Eventually, we'll have to get some potions set. Do this before these get too out of control. Books. And decorative maps. I think we have done all these, right? Because we had the one and we had it in the other chest and went back to clear that one up in a previous episode. So I think these are all decorative and done. I think we're good, right? And still not sleepy time. At some point here, we're gonna have phantoms all over the place, but not a deal yet. All right, this one is gonna help us burn in the path to that skelly spawner. Oh! Not quite burned in yet. I thought that was our little safe one block step. You'll have to put in a safety railing or something. Spider. And those certainly feel like they could be pretty close to one another, right? Alright. Boom, 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 boom. Clear that up. I'll clear these up too. At some point, all that's going to have to go to build this out into a farm of some kind. Nothing there. those two. Thank you, Rail. Making that so easy. Hi, Creeper. Coming? I was kind of hoping he'd get stuck in that spider web. Now, is that just weird sound effects, or is there a skelly shooting at me, too? Do not know. We'll leave that off. Let's go up wherever it's reasonable to do so. Just here. And this is kind of one of those best circumstances I can think of to use a diamond pick. Is while we're exploring. All right, that was our way back. We were running around here earlier. Not me. Here's spiders. Hey. There we go. There we go. Hey, we even got a double. Just peek around the outside of it. And looks like, oh no, it's the glow cave. I was just golden. Wasn't sure for just a second. I was like, "Is that enchanted?" First redstone? No, I think we already had a little bit. I know we've had enough rail to get us a rail box. More beet seeds and melons. All right, go back in your corner. Filling up a little bit. Think I still have a pretty good grasp on direction. Like, I think we're coming back towards the same. Oh, that's one of those. Oh, there's another one. The blossom things. For a second there, I thought I was looking up into an amethyst, which would have been cool too, but I still like those flowery guys. Got some of those in Devour Anything, right? That's our other world that we've kind of parked because 19 has been so dangerous for the survival of worlds that we like. Didn't want to lose what we had going there. Now, yep, this is straight above where our stairs are. So somewhere sandwiched in between. Oh, this is perfect. We can do that. I don't want to take too much. But we can leave those two with lights, grab a couple glowberries, because I'm not sure I have any yet. Maybe I already did, I don't know. And I think some of this gets up to the upper area by our base, right? A little bit more light, just redundant there. And glowberries filled us up. Oh, and add a little more light there while we're here before we run upstairs. I think we're pretty well done here, but ooh, that could eventually come into play on our base. Oh, here's the other thing. We've got redstone, so let's grab these out. Well, we've already got a stack going, right? Okay, that was a success. We didn't die. Always a good sign. And we got some good stuff, including 2 diamonds. So back up from our sword. And we learned a valuable lesson about jumping through holes up there, which I think we should try. See, this, I think I thought that was that. So let's put you there. Now we're kind of safe as we go around. Why not? I think I know that one well enough, but I just thought to hit there, and we really don't want that. Okay. Zoom, 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 and a boom, boom. Nighttime, let's get sleep. First order of business and get rid of the phantom threat. So I think it's been ever since our boat trip since we've actually had a night of sleep. So the other thing I've done since last hanging out with you guys, if you skip to this point and missed the beginning of the video or just join us in the chat, there's some car excitement in my parking lot earlier end of last week, and that was significant and the main reason why I haven't been live. But I did vent some frustration on the poor Denzians of Tamriel, and I did have some glowberries. Kept playing my character in Skyrim, and I'm certainly well beyond any progress I'd made in any other playthrough. So that's kind of cool. I'm in new ground, right? Exploring, having new quests and things to finish up, and kind of getting at least the feel that I'm beginning to wrap things up on quest lines and content. Like, okay, yeah, I may actually be in the later game. And there was a DLC or expansion to the game a while back that allowed you to that broke the initial level cap. No initial level cap, I think it was from the very start, but I think the initial max levels you could reach was 80, and I'm now into the mid 60s and feeling very much, like any leveling for me. The kind of initial lesson was OSRS, old school RuneScape, and that skill leveling grind where you find out, you get to, like, in that one you can go up to 100 and you get to like level 92, and that's when you realize that you've come halfway through your whole grind to complete a particular skill. That hammering home the lesson that exponentially growing the experience you need to go from level to level it's huge at the higher levels. You see somebody that's maxed out, and now they've changed Skyrim, um, and I've done it once. I don't see a whole lot of value to it, but you can take one of the skills that you can level quickly. For me, alchemy has always been quick, right? You can go through, level it up to 100, um, and then effectively trade in your all of your skill points that you put into that, perk points that you put into other levels, and redistribute them out to other skills. So if you really don't like magic and you really like alchemy, you could level that skill up to 100 a couple times and redistribute those into the things that you don't like to do. I have a feeling a lot of people do that with some of the thiefier stuff, uh, pickpocketing and stealth and all that. At least I don't know. Maybe that's just my personal bias. I find that those are slow to start and slow to get leveled up. But I did it once a few characters ago. Kind of enjoyed the boost, but really didn't see that it was all that effective because particularly in my playstyle, having max tier potions and the ability to craft those makes me want to keep the perk points where I've got them. And the only real difference is that you can, when you have just almost endless supplies of ingredients already stockpiled, you could effectively spend out those points to other stuff and then level take that skill all the way back up to level cap again. It doesn't feel too natural to me, so I'm okay um, with kind of leveling it out. And I'm seeing that end that I could have uh, all the skill trees maxed out. Right now, I I think my lowest skill, oddly, is destruction magic. I really haven't needed to use it or haven't chosen to use it too much. Um, all of my crafty skills, I guess. The smithing, alchemy, enchanting are all at 100. Have been for a long time. So is my two-handed and heavy armor. So I've switched out of that. I'm now light armor, primarily armor with one-handed, using stealth and currently pickpocketing, um, to already finished all that, to try to increase as many skills as possible and get levels because all of those will level quickly. So, hey, buddy, I don't know if you can get up through there or not, but we'll deal with you in a moment. This seems to be full of the murder holes. We don't need the murder holes. Um, yep, think that should do it. Um, yeah, so it's kind of that boost when you get into those grinds. You start working on skills that are low, so you can continue to level up and get your perk points to drop into other things. But that's that exponential growth, right? It takes a lot more skill level ups to get a character level up when you're up in the 60s than it did even when you were in the 40s, much less the 20s or 30s. So um, kind of cool to be working through it, but I'm in a new position of wondering will the content outlast my play, or am I going to be grinding? And I try not to look too much to internet stuff, although there are, for a game that age, there are certainly good resources online. But basically, I'd rather discover stuff on my own or kind of figure it out than just go follow a guide. And much like some of the Minecraft stuff and everything else, I am continually amazed by how many, you like go in and it was like, I had some specific questions. One of the recent ones, which I finally figured out on the PlayStation, which is where I played Skyrim, there is a question, or there I had a question because I've almost got everything, at least one of everything in the stats. There's, right where you save your game and where you look at the quests and all that, there is a stat screen that gives you some random counts on everything. And for the first time, basically done one of everything at least, with the exception of I haven't been. I haven't broken out of jail. I think the only jailing I did was in the Markarth quest line, which if you play the game, you understand what I'm talking about. So I haven't been jailed for any of my actions, and I think would probably hold that out until later. I don't anticipate that I'm going to run into a whole lot of that. I wonder if these are the. Ooh, I wonder no more. I was going to say, I wonder if these are the pillars that we've been lighting from below. Prevent mob drops. Don't think I trust this real well just yet, especially with with that. Gross. Here, let's do this. Oh. Next one will get it. Let's do. Nope, there it is. So we got an upstairs up there. All right, now I think we're safe. Let's see what we got. The regular golden glowberries. I guess my fault. I went back and got some. Coal, always good, and a whole bunch of basic rail. Not bad. Not awesome, but take it. We can take some of this wood we were just talking about. I didn't have a whole lot of lumber. Probably still better off cutting down some trees up top at some point, but all good. We've done all. I don't think we've done everything around here, have we? Oh, hang on one second, guys. Right back. Okay, sorry about that again. In the interest of you guys, I had turned off the sound notifications on my texts, and then in that last call, I had said, "Oh yeah, I probably won't be accessible for phone for the next hour or so, but you can text me." And then I put the phone on the charger and totally missed all of them. So I heard the vibrating of the call. I was like, "Uh-oh, I'll get there." Oh, hey. There's all that. Ooh. Whole. Wholly ungood. Now, where are you grounding? Also, equally ungood. Pop up those stairs and be like, uh-oh. In fact, can we level this out just a bit? I think we'll leave hunger because we're probably going to have to clear some poison here. That went well. Now, I think that a lot of that zombie noise is coming from down there, hopefully. I like this one. It's a little overwhelming at times, but hey guys, let's do this for you. Do. Any day now. There you go. I kind of just grown to disregard those glow algaes. I don't know. Uh, I still think you kind of need torches just for your own mapping and yes, there and there. Just the act of placing them for me helps refresh as much as possible which way we need to go. Like, we know we're down a little bit, but over. Um, we just come through there. This is the big opening, and our exit is kind of back over that way. But kind of at the limit of remembering turns and stuff to get back, right? You find it, you've passed that threshold more quickly, I think, than I often think I have. Like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Wait, no, there was a whole other section. I don't have any idea where I need to turn. Right? There's a friend. Oh, and there's a friend. Okay. Go with the ones we know we need to deal with. Gotta look. Check the rear view every once in a while, alright? Oh man. We go back here. Does this connect to... Yes. We'd already been... Okay, that's all. Locked. That's good. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay, these all are regular ceiling height. Do a bit of choppy chop. And then maybe we can go, let's do this. Ooh, not that. Oh, tell me, tell me, show me. I don't think that was it. Try to make this a little safe though before we. Uh-oh. Oh, is it? No, that doesn't look right. I was trying to make myself buy that was a rich iron vein, but I don't think I can buy it. Just because there's one iron ore with tough. We'll explore though when we get back up. I didn't want to get too carried away. Standing out here. Oh, we'll leave that iron for now. Oh, now is the creeper coming? We saw a creeper over there too. The skelly definitely came. Yeah, all right. Gold. Don't have much of that yet. So here, I'm guessing this is just a pocket of tough, right? It's pretty widespread, but uh, definitely between the lush cave and the deep slate mine here, something to keep an eye out for, right? Both of those are you're more likely to find a rich iron vein bisecting one or both of those than you are to just find one out in the middle of a bunch of stone or some caves or something, right? So, like I said, this is actually more of a help than just a nuisance kind of cleanup, because I need this wood. And breaking planks, not as good as getting logs, but since we're here anyway, ooh, and we've got lots of iron, we'll just go ahead and grab what we can. And nothing further there. All right. Ooh. A very broken stair. Looks like a cool cave. Oh, a cool cave with some gravel over my head. Now, is any of this stuff I've already seen? Don't know, kind of scared. Just can't tell all the glow lichen. Well, that's fine. This keeps us. We want to keep focus on our abandoned mine shaft here, not necessarily on the big cave. At least not way up there. And will we find an ancient city? Who knows? We haven't done real well at surviving down here. And I don't see any diamonds just scattered in. If I blow by any and you saw me miss them, let me know in the comments, in the chat. And, I don't know, you get a cookie, right? Just every time I see tough, looking for the iron. We've done well enough, like there. We've done well enough at finding some of these that have continued on, that they don't seem to be as mysterious or formidable, right? To track them down. So, like, is this a bigger part of something, or part of something bigger? Not a bigger part of something. And now this is like spinning around a bunch of times and then shaking your head. Now, which way was I facing? Loads and loads of tough, but again, I don't think this is necessarily rich ore. I think it's just where we happen to be. Ooh, that's the advantage of finding new stuff. And it's crazy. We were just around there. Oh, this is what we threw a torch up onto that post for. Here we got another deep hole. when they go, they all want to go. That'll be down by that minecart. That looks like dirt, not miney stuff. Okay, and then we're back up to the conversion layers. Get in the hole. Hey! Oh, my friend. How you doing, Ant? Yeah, not Minecraft, Rob, man. I walked outside on Friday night and discovered that my truck no longer had its catalytic converter. Somebody chopped it right out from underneath it. Crazy. Good, man. I'm glad to see you're doing well. And I am too. You know, I spent the first hour and a half talking about it, but um, honestly, you gotta kind of refocus a little bit after something like that happened and go, you know what? Could have been a lot worse. I would have been in just as bad a spot if somebody had rear-ended me or something, and people could have been hurt there. So, yeah, feel bad that there's people out there that are in a place where that's their best option, is going around and wrecking other people's stuff just for some parts. But It's is what it is, and we'll get it all sorted out eventually. But that was I now know that yeah, people are stealing out of cars, and I was shocked. Crazy to walk out in your parking lot, like feet away from where you live, like literally outside my window, and not the spot immediately in front of mine with like a sidewalk and a plant between me and it, but on the opposite side. So 20, 20 yards, 30 yards away from my front window was where I was parked when they did it. Crazy. But yeah, there's so much good. I don't need to complain about that too much, other than yeah, it happened. It makes a good tagline, right? You had to drop in to find out what happened, and hopefully VODs and all the rest. I baited you a little bit, but it was honest. I legitimately did get robbed, and not just in a Minecraft deal. Um, so that happened, and yeah, I think we'll see if we ever get back to this. All right, we are full. Uh-oh. See, now I'm finding all this cool stuff. And oh, almost missed that. Oh, hey, buddy. Now I'm fully turned around. Is this the home way? I think it is. Yeah, see that torch on the floor? There we go. Perfect. I don't know how many. Honestly, after the last couple of days, I don't know if it's changed dramatically. We just kind of, gradually plug away. People find us, decide to hit a follow. I appreciate it. I hope they're not all bots. I hope there's a few humans in there, and that those people are enjoying the content, enjoying the ride. Yeah, I don't know. Thanks. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, now I got calls again. I'm gonna hold off on that one since I just answered. Yeah, the most unfortunate bit of uh, the other day was they they got me while I'd been trying to Uber to where I was gonna hang out with friends to watch the hockey game, and I just found like surge was ridiculous, and I was like, screw it, I'm gonna drive and park, and I'll go get my car the next day, being safe and responsible driver. And so I went out, jumped in my truck, and turned it on, and it sounds, you basically have no exhaust, right? No muffler, nothing, and it's now truncated right under the passenger seat, so it sounded like a Harley was starting in my ear. And when you're not expecting that, it scares the crap out of you. And then it totally threw my whole night into chaos. That was really the worst part. I was like, oh, what's going on? What do I got to do? I say that's the worst part. I mean, I have a feeling trying to figure out getting repairs and all that will be a big old pain in the butt too. But, uh, nobody got hurt, and it's a nuisance. But if the worst it is a nuisance, I'm okay with that. So, hey, no worries. I got to wrap up anyway. But it's great to see you. Thanks for dropping by, and take care, Ant. Have a good stream if you're kicking off. Antheos Live, everyone. True true friend of the channel, and awesome of him to check in and see what the news was. That's awesome. Like I said, and as he said, he had to get rolling. I do have to get going as well. It's afternoon here. I knew I got a little bit later start, but we're figuring we got to hold down spots if we want to get into any places, because that was what we found out on Friday. In addition to the fact that people are stealing catalytic converters, nowadays in my part of the world. If you want to watch a Stanley Cup final game over the weekend, you got to be there or have a reservation or whatever more than 2 hours in advance, or they're just no tables. So that's what we're going to do. What should we do? Name tags in here. Seems like a good one. And then a bone back over here. So pretty good adventures in the mines today. I think we had good loot so far. I think the diamonds are good. We got to build a sword and replace those two. That was basically about it for the diamonds. But we did find two additional spawners, right? Because we hadn't had the spider yet either. I don't. Yeah, that was all today. So, spider spawner, regular spider spawner. We had two cave spiders that we cleared, and two or three, and have a skelly spawner marked as well. And I think whether or not they're too close to each other to allow for clean drops, we can probably manage that pretty well. But I think that the spider and the skelly should at least be close enough that we can spawn mobs at the same time in both, and that's always handy, right? The spiders are a nuisance to try to manually kill, but we can be harvesting them for string and spider eyes, and the skellies would be the ones that we could then drop one shot and get bones and arrows out of going forward. So very good stuff there. Um, really enjoyed the time. Thanks for those of you guys who hung out or have listened to the whole VOD. Thanks for letting me vent. And remember, as I would, that's kind of my takeaway. If you guys can take anything away from my little stupid story, it's I say it a lot in a lot of different ways. During the pandemic and with the economy and all that, I try to remind people, especially folks that are kind of prime um, Twitch age, that there's a lot of forces out there that are trying to make you think of yourself as a victim. And certainly in this case, by the strict interpretation, yep, I was a victim. I was victimized by some dirty part grabber, catalytic converter chopper. And that stinks. It always, you feel a little powerless. You feel like, what the heck? What the heck is happening to me, and why did I get chosen, even though it's probably purely random? But it still stinks, and you have to kind of dig deep and go, all right, what can I find that doesn't leave me feeling that? How can I grow from this? And I talked about it in the middle of the stream. If you want to go back through and listen, otherwise, those of you guys that are just dropping in, if you in one case when I was much younger, I left a car unlocked in my driveway in a suburban cul-de-sac. Never even I was like, oh yeah, that kind of stuff doesn't happen in this neighborhood. It's the end of the cul-de-sac. Thieves aren't going to be like up and down cul-de-sacs because all the people in those houses, you walk out and it's like, hey, what's random person doing at the end of the cul-de-sac? The 5 or 6 houses down there, everybody knows each other, so who would ever be that brazen? Well, yeah, they are. And I learned that lesson the hard way. Somebody went through. Unfortunately, there wasn't anything worth stealing in my car. I'd long since, you don't leave valuables. But a bunch of the people on the street all got broken into the same morning, night, whatever. And a number of people had things in their cars that did get stolen, and that reinforced me. Don't ever be extra aware of locking your car. So I took that away. That became the positive. Hey, this can happen if you're not smart. So think about it a lot more. And I talked about how today I'm still looking for what's the positive. Where do you come out of this? And, I really think this is one way, just being able to share that, make people aware, because, I'd heard about it on the news. I knew people were going after these things, but I didn't know anyone that was impacted. I haven't yet, friends, acquaintances, anything like that. Nobody's been like, oh, yeah, man, this is a huge pain. It happened. but it's happening a lot and a lot more, and it may be happening in your community too. I don't have perfect advice for how to prevent it if you don't have a garage, except to be extra aware. And I think those of you guys who are here or who listen to the pods, you may have caught that point when I was talking about it. Hey, there's some weird sound outside in the midst of lawn mowing and people cleaning out the dumpsters. Somebody used that as an opportunity to dive in, and I think that was the moment when they were grinding it out. I said, "Hey, it sounds like there's a machine shop. Sounds like somebody's grinding metal." Well, guess what? Some metal got ground during those 2 days, and it just happened to be my exhaust line. So, be aware. Take that as the positive. If you hear things going on, even if it's not you, but it could be your neighbors or something like that, look out for them. Look out for everybody else, and then put yourselves in the other people's shoes. Try to go. Yeah, this nobody got hurt. Hopefully you're in a situation where that's not a devastating impact, and look at the positive. And if you can find it within yourself, the ideal is put yourself, try to empathize with the people that find themselves with no better option in life than to go out and risk imprisonment and a criminal record and all the bad stuff, by doing that in broad day. My life is such that I have to go around trying to steal parts off of cars in broad daylight in the middle of the day, to get a few bucks. And whatever the causes are, whatever has limited their options to an extent where that's the best you've got, I feel for whoever that person is, and I hope they find a better path. While I can't say that I don't hope that person gets caught at some point, and gets brought to justice, and I know they'll probably not get the full extent they will have gotten. I fully imagine that they will get away clean with mine, right? I don't think that my city's police force is going to do a deep investigation on this. I think it happens enough, and really, there's just not resources to chase every one of them down. But hopefully, at some point along the way, they get the nudge that they need. And what I try to think of, when I try to be nice to people, and just generally, hey, how's it go? How's it going? I don't know you, but I'm gonna try to be a friendly, decent person. Maybe that just gives a little spark to somebody out there, that needs it. Yeah, that could be the person that I'm hurting when I'm out stealing, or who knows what, vandalizing or anything else. Anyway, that's my little rant. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I hope you've enjoyed this stream. I hope to be much more punctual, but this huge monkey wrench right now. At some point along the way, I gotta figure out, am I, if this just goes to a shop and they're able to do it quickly, probably minimal inconvenience. But along the way, as I said, maybe that means I'm also doing a bit of car shopping, and that, I don't look forward to. One of my least favorites. Some people get off on test driving and negotiating and finding a good deal. Not me. I wish our industry was a little more straightforward, and hey, here it is. You get this kind of car, and there's no trickery or crazy margins. I know we all suffer a little bit with the one price deals. Those aren't really deals. They're just charging you an inflation for not having to think about it. But when you get in these kind of situations, and fortunately for me, it's not that dire, right? I don't have to commute to work, anything like that. It'll be a little bit of a nuisance for some bigger grocery trips and all that, if I can't schedule a time to take the truck in to get it fixed. But life's good, right? I got good friends, and hopefully a good outcome on the hockey game tonight. Let's go Avs. You Tampa fans, sorry. I think the time has come for your run to be over. And I was saying to a friend, late Friday night, I was like, I told them the whole deal that had gone down. I said, I'm almost, one part of me really was like, oh, this would totally salvage my day, right? Win the Stanley Cup. But I also was like, that would always be kind of forever tainted, right? 20 years from now, what am I going to remember out of the Stanley Cup? Oh, yeah, that was the day that my catalytic converter got stolen, or that I found out it got stolen. Um, so, maybe it was meant to be. And while 100%, I want this over and done. I want Colorado to show up, be strong, and get it done. I don't, for 1 second, think that that's automatic. Tampa Bay is a really good team, and a lot of Colorado fans who don't follow hockey closely but jumped on the bandwagon here in the last few series are. And we're like, oh well, yeah, Colorado's really good, so they're just gonna win this automatically. No, 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 no. Um, you let this get to a game seven. One, that's crazy exciting, but two, you don't get to a game seven against Tampa Bay after you had them down 3-1. That's a really bad idea. So hopefully they take care of business. Hopefully you guys all get to enjoy it. Take care. Have a great end of your weekend if you still got some Sunday left. And we will catch you guys hopefully tomorrow, if not then Tuesday. So take care, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Likes, comments, follows. Um, yeah, likes, comments, follows, subscribes over on the YouTube side of things, right? Cover all the bases. Just get them all. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.